Monster Integration by N1. Chapter 161 Out of Realm 4. Slice Pook. When I looked back weakly, the monster behind me is decapitated. Thanks. I said. Earlier I was using Fire Strike on monster while another one was coming behind me. My plan was to dodge as soon as I launched the strike, but now that Jill had killed it, I have no such worries. I rested for a minute to let potions digest before again started attacking monsters again. In the midst of attacking, my gaze fell on Rhea, who had slight red smoke covering her body. Her speed is so fast that I am barely able to catch her with my eyes. This is the speed type night grade skill she is using. With the help of it, her speed got faster and her attack more lethal due to speed copying it. Sometimes when I see her using that skill, I wonder why hadn't I chose that skill, but quickly reason cut in saying Fire Strike ability is best for me. Both of us choose the perfect skill we needed. She needed speed while I need lethal attack power, and as I level up and able to conjure more bolts of fire, that is when my skill will become truly dangerous. While fighting I soon found the perfect place. It is the 50-meter body of gigantic scarlet fire. I can easily hide beside it, and faint vibes that are still releasing from it can easily mask the fluctuation of my attack and help me hide. I will use this trick tomorrow if get the chance. It's been nearly 2 hours since I've been fighting. After finishing my fight within 45 minutes, I started to help another kill these monsters. It is very hard for specialist grade evolvers to kill these monsters without night skill. There are still many monsters are still alive, and those who finished their individual fights are helping in killing monsters. While fighting I found the perfect place me to attack and take rest after that. It is near the body of gigantified scarlet. As time passed, more and more people finished their fight and started to help. With the continued effort of everyone, monsters getting killed every second and their number least to the point that battle is nearly finished. This one also, I said to Jill as she is helping me remove the monster cores. This is harvesting time. After Jill had removed the cores of the monsters she killed, I asked her to help me. The defense of both of the species is immense, and power of the third tide barely make a scratch, even power fourth tide only able to penetrate half an inch into its skin. It's the best choice to ask Jill for the help as she finished harvesting hers killed monsters. Jill, I will need some potions from you. I nearly finished using all mine. I really spend more than 200 bottles of mana and healing potion together. Do you want it now or later? She asked as she moved her hand toward the monster heart. Her hand felt little obstruction, but it quickly passed through the heart and she removed the core from inside without dirtying her hands. This is her another body type night grade skill which gives her hand immense strength. This skill is quite special. It shows now fluctuating of energy. No obvious visual phenomenon. The only sign of her one can spot is that her hands turn slightly white, but that thing most people overlooked as there is only a slight change. Give me later, I said as I have enough for today, but it would be really difficult for them to be for tomorrow. Not only I am nearly out of options, but I am also nearly out of Treyant hearts. I have only 29 small pieces of Treyant heart left with me. Of that, 4 to 5 would be finished by the end of the day, and I don't think 20-something pieces of the Treyant heart would be enough for tomorrow night. Treyant heart is one of the things that kept the casualties low among it. Hundreds of more people would have died because of it. Not only our camp had encountered Treyants, but the other camp also encountered as well. This realm is enough precious with Treyants and daffodil bees, not considering the precious herb. This could be considered gold mine to the organizations in West Blood, but the only problem is those from the central continent. When I asked William and Jill if they knew anything about the central continent, they both were oddly quiet. They must have known something but definitely couldn't tell me about it. Although they didn't tell me anything, I know or continent could not compare it. I could tell it from their powerhouses which could easily kill corporal grade monsters at private grade, and that's not all. They all were able to cast night grade skill at the private grade. It is very, very hard to do that, and I didn't think organizations in the Republic could train anyone who could kill corporal level monster at private stage without breaking the sweat. Even in the organization on In Blood, the super elite is born at corporal level after exceptionally hard training and some secret method. And from what William had said, each top organization had less than 10 super elites, and they are various stages. I don't know if William stated the correct number or not of super elite, but I don't think there would be more than 20 super elites in top organizations. After collecting monster cores, we started to move again with our fast pace. After 1.5 hours of peaceful journey, we came across another horde. We fought with a horde and killed each and every monster that attacks us. By the time we finished collecting the monster cores, it started to dark, but we didn't set the camp. Continued our journey for 45 minutes till it became fully dark, but we had reached our destination as I could see 4 domes of blue force field in front of me. Chapter 162 Out of Realm V. As we walked near the blue domes, I found that they had a clear lot more area than we would need to pitch the 8 camps. It looks like they had made a large field preparation for big battle, I joke in my mind. As we walked near the camp, the small opening formed on the blue force field and 4 people came out of 5 camps. William and other elite of the camp went to meet them as they started talking something in between them. Many small groups of monster attacked us while they were talking, but it was handled by corporal level elite. After 15 minutes of talking, the 4 super elites went back to their camp, and soon after the 4 force fields closed down. The people inside their camps are as surprised as us. What are they doing? I asked Jill, as she would likely have an idea. What are they doing? You will see in a few hours, she said with a mischievous smile. The 4 super elites of another camp with another holding the staffs of artifacts. Super elites from our camp also took out staffs of artifact from the storage and started placed them around the boundary of the whole clearing. When I counted the whole staffs they are placed around the clearing, I became shocked, seeing they are placing 240 staff. Everyone enter inside the boundary of the staffs. A loud voice boomed, "We like headless chicken," followed as he said. What happens next was the amazing and memorable scene I've ever seen in my life. All 240 staffs of the artifacts drilled into the ground, and suddenly they all lit up with blinding blue light. The blue light from them traveled up slowly, and soon light from all 240 lines of lights met in the sky and started to form a blue dome. Gasp! I gasped seeing this. The giant dome had encompassed the whole clearing. If a fight broke out, we can easily fight more than 15,000, I thought, and that when it ticks in my mind. I thought it as a joke, but it might be true. Maybe this is reason erected this gigantic dome. Is this where we are going to fight tomorrow? I asked Jill to clear my doubt. Likely. She answered. I am a little confused hearing that. We were supposed to fighting our way towards the exit, not stay in position and attack the monsters that surround our camp. I don't know anything, Jill said when I looked at her with questioning expression. Looks like we will only know after William came back, but now he is a center where all the super elites had gathered and discussed something. Seeing it will take some time to come from his meeting, we pitched the side of our tent by side. There is no distinction between camps right now. It's like the original camp at the boundary of the Sind Forest. I am just resting in my tent when heard the loud voice of Max. Attention, everyone, please organize in the center of the camp. I repeat, everyone. Max's voice boomed the minutes. I got up and walked out of my tent with Ashlyn. When I knocked at Jill's tent and with her, I walked toward the center of camp where Max is standing on the giant tree stump, waiting for everyone. Within a few minutes, 4,000 people gathered around the giant tree stump that Max is standing on. As you know, we are only a few miles away exit of the realm, he said while taking a break for suspense. What you don't know that seeing our big moment in the forest, they had formed a large horde, he said. Most of the people are not shocked as they know once monsters notice big movement in their territory, they will form a horde to defend against it. People are more interested in knowing the number of monsters they are going to face. Everyone looked at Max expectantly with bated breath, wanting to know the exact number of monsters. By the morning, 25,000 monsters will surround the camp and they all will be B grade, and there will be a minute number B upper grade monsters also, he said. Sue. Olive sucked the sharp breath hearing this. Ever since we entered the center area, in the past 2 days we had mostly faced 6,000 monsters. 2,000 people against 6,000 monsters, and we fought quite bitterly against it, but now he is telling us that there will 25,000 monsters will be greeting us in the morning. The whole is becoming chaotic suddenly as everyone discussing among themselves as this very, very bad news. Not only we will face 25,000 monsters of B grade, but Max also said there will be a minute amount of B upper grade monster. I know what terror that could bring us. There is the relative difference between the strength B and B upper grade monsters, and that's not all. Many people out of potions or very few left to them. It became very noisy after all the people started shouting their concerns to the Max. Quite. All of your concerns will be answered, shouted Max. Everybody suddenly became quiet. There is two good news that I will share with you that will erase all of your concerns. First, the good news is that after we defeat this horde, we will not face many challenges reaching the exit, Max said. Hearing that made a lot of people calm, but there is still a question about how we are going to beat the monsters first. All super elites excluding me had already left an exit for the exit just now to bring the things we will need to fight the monsters, he said. First, people extremely shocked hearing nearly all the super elites left, but were quite relieved hearing they had gone to bring important things. They will also bring some reinforcement, and not only they will bring the potions, but they will also bring the skills. From the fortune you had received in this realm, I think everyone is now capable of buying the skills. We will start our attack day after tomorrow at dawn. Tomorrow will be to you to rest and learn the skill. He said that and jumped off the stadium, leaving people murmuring the single word skill. Chapter 163 out of Realm 6. Skill. That word kept ringing in everyone's mind. They did not come out of themselves even after Max left. They did not even react when Max said that we will not fight tomorrow but day after. Tomorrow. When they come to themselves and thought it through, they still did not care about a day-late expedition and more monsters that came with it. All of them were still busy dreaming about the skill. Only 1/3 of people have skill while others mostly are without skill. There are two reasons most people below corporal level don't have the skill. First is a skill are really expensive. Even mediocre grade 1 skill cost 2 million while the good ones are even more expensive. The second reason, there aren't many places that sold skills. There are two places in a republic that sell skill to normal adventurers. One is Adventurer's Paradise and other is government. Adventurer's Paradise had a strange rule that only corporal level could buy the skill from them, and the government charged an extra 500,000 that prices in Adventurer's Paradise. That is why most of the people didn't have skill. One more reason people are excited about that nearly all people here are able to buy skill right now, no matter which level. Even those at private grade definitely had collected enough monsters core to able to buy a skill, much less everyone else. I am also very excited. By my estimate, I have already collected monster cores worth 4 million credits. Buying skill is one of my objectives after getting out of this realm. I had earned a fortune in this realm, and with these fortunes, I may be able to finance the best training for myself for at least 6 months, including buying new gear. I walk back excitedly with Jill back to our tents. She is very sad that her brother left for home after saying just word. I consoled her saying he will come back by the dawn, and this forest there is no monster that is a threat to her brother. Hearing that, her mood elevated a little. We kept walking around the whole camp before dinner is ready. The dinner was quite tasty compared to what we were used to eating every day at our camp. Ashlyn likes it so very much that she ate till she can't fly. Ashlyn, where do you keep all the food you ate? Jill asked for Ashlyn as I am holding her in my palms. Chew. Ashlyn lazily chirps in annoyance and closed her eyes, not even bothering to hear any of her questions. Jill many times to poke Ashlyn, but seeing she is not responding, she let go, but Bitsy did not. She tried for a full 10 minutes, but even then Ashlyn did not open her eyes. Bitsy became sad seeing this. Jill had to console Bitsy with treats. We talked for a little more before going inside our respective tent. I tried to sleep early, but I couldn't due to the excitement I am feeling for tomorrow. The super elites that went to West Blood would be able to return by dawn bringing skill and other things with them. Choo-choo. I am woken by Ashlyn's loud chirp and sharp beak on my face. When I looked at the time, I got quite surprised seeing it is late morning. In this realm, I normally woke up at dawn, but today I subconsciously let go due to safety, and I was too tense past few days. I let go consciously and slept till my body got urgently needed rest. Good morning, Ashlyn, I said, but she didn't reply to my greeting and looked at me annoyingly. Choo 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 choo, she chirps at me angrily and asks me to open the flap of the tent, so she could go out. She must have woken up hours before but LT my sleep and didn't wake me up. I can see the number of seeds and other parts of fruits lying around my backpack. I can see that she had eaten in the morning. Ever since we had entered this realm or since she evolved into specialist grade, her appetite had grown more than before. She had started to disturb me at night for food, so I always kept my backpack open before sleeping, so if she is hungry, she can eat herself, but this time she is not annoyed because she is hungry but because she is feeling bored and close and wanted to go out. Okay, I'll open it, I said with my hands in front and opened the flap of the tent slightly, so she could go outside. Her chubby form flew away from the tent without taking a single glance. After freshening up, I get out of my tent and I greeted with cheerful atmosphere with no care for monsters that are attacking our camp. When I saw the number of monsters, my heart skipped a beat. Fucking hell! I shouted in my mind seeing the numbers of monster. Max was right, there are more than 20,000 monsters out there. Not only that, the number of gigantified monsters had reached 32. When they attacked the blue dome, giant ripples spread across the dome. It felt so scared that if I was a child, I would have definitely shit my pants seeing this scene. There are currently 7 monster species, for we have fought before while 3 are completely unknown. I am very pleasantly surprised seeing one species of monsters though. I never thought I will encounter it again. It's Treants. They are one of the 7 species of monsters that are attacking the big dome and they are in quite sizable numbers. These Treants looked quite different than the ones that we face a few days. These ones have little purple mixed in their green color. Of all gigantified monsters, giant Treants are most interesting to see. They are attacking the dome with their tens of branches. No matter which comes in their way, these branches pierce through it, but still, they aren't able to do anything except for producing a ripple. Taking my gaze of monster, I look toward the center of the dome and walk toward it excitedly as nearly all the people of camp crowding there. Chapter 164 out of Realm 7. It feels like a small market back in the original camp, just like original camp in the boundary of the Sind Forest. There are hundreds of individual shops opened by people, selling many weird things that they found in the forest. Even I was surprised seeing a number of things there. Today there is no lunch and dinner from the camp, everyone has to buy it for themselves, but no one complained about it, seeing there are so many makeshift restaurants. I see the many people buying and selling things. I would have done so, but I have no knowledge of ores, and for many weird herbs and fruits, I have to call Ashlyn, who is happily flying in the sky. I don't think there is anything precious in what they are selling, otherwise, Ashlyn would have smelled and come to me chirping, not flying happily in the dome. 2 or 3 people seen such shops, but most of the people concentrated on 11 places. Hundreds of people could be seen in line in front of each shop. These 11 places are making everyone so excited that those aren't in line also looking toward it now and them. The only thing that could make people this crazy is skill. These 11 places shops must be selling skills. I am right when I asked some people who came out of shops buying the skills. These shops are selling potions and skills. They said that there are only 14 skills and every shop are selling the same skills. I did get disappointed hearing every shop are selling the same skills, but quite happy seeing their 14 skills they are selling. The thing made me most happy and surprised that they are charging the same price as Adventurer's Paradise and not overcharge as government. Even the shop handled by government super elite had cut down the prices and selling the same price as rest. I found it quite baffling but decide not to think about it much. Getting skill cheap is already enough for me, and I will see if I could buy 2 skill with the monster cores I had. I heard another good news while walking. The price of the monster core we got from the Sind Forest is a lot higher. It is comparable to the core of corporal level monster of the same level. Some even sell at a higher price depending upon the energy they contained. I expected the higher price but never expected the price comparable to the core of 1 stage higher of outside monster. Means the price of the core of specialist stage monster of this realm comparable to the price of the core of corporal stage monster and outside, and price may go higher if the monster is a higher grade one. I roamed the market for a while before I felt hungry and called the Ashlyn from the sky. Choo choo. Ashlyn chirped cheerfully as she landed on my shoulder and we walked toward the makeshift restaurant. Choo-choo. Ashlyn waves her wings and saying no and pointed toward the different direction. I am quite startled seeing her behaving like this. Normally we would eat whatever place I would pick, but now I was just walking towards the restaurant. She disagreed and waved her wings toward another makeshift restaurant which is quite far. She looked quite adorable when she waved her wings. One just wants to pick her chubby self and massage her against the face, but I control myself and did not do that. She will definitely get if I did that. I walked toward the makeshift restaurant she is waving her wings. It's really good. I said after taking a bite. It is at the same level as what we ate in the West Blood. The chef might be a novice, but monster meat more than make up for it. Ashlyn had quickly gobbled her plate and asked me a second. Seeing she is not full, I asked for the second plate. Feeling full, I got out of the restaurant with Ashlyn in my palm. I roamed the market for 45 minutes, hoping to find miracle fruit or mystical medicine, but no such luck. Ashlyn never responded to anything. Seeing the crowd around the shops had a lot of thin out, I also line up the front of the shop which has the shortest line. There are 50-some people are in the line and talking people ahead and behind me. I got the clear idea on what they are selling. Michael. I heard a familiar voice shout my name. It is Jill, and when I look up, I saw Jill and her brother coming toward me. She has a huge smile on her face and she is overly affectionate to her brother. She was quite a bad mood when William left yesterday after saying a word, but now her mood is completely opposite. From my understanding of Jill, William must have given her something she dearly wants, otherwise, he would not be this affectionate with her brother. Are you buying skill? She asked. I nodded. Yes, that is why I'm in line for half an hour. Can you come out of line? Asked William suddenly. I looked at him hesitantly. It has been 20 minutes I've been in the line, and if I step out I line up again from the end and all 20 minutes for naught. Don't worry, you will not have to line up again? William said, hearing that I get out of line. Maya said in favor of mystical medicine you have given her, you can pick any skill of that 14 skill, said William as we were walking. I got startled hearing that. I got happy before shaking my head in mind. From talking to people, I come to know that the cheapest skill costs 2 million while the most expensive would cost 6 million. The price of a piece of mutated Treyant heart most would be 2 million most, and the skill I am thinking of buying is worth 3.6 million. The difference is too much. If it was a difference of 200,000, I would have definitely accepted, but the difference of 1.5 million is too much. Even if I am greedy for money, I still have some principles. Sorry, it's too much, I can't accept it, I said while shaking my head. William just about says something, but Jill cut him up. Snort. It's not you taking advantage of her, but she is taking advantage of you. Whatever skill you will take, she will only have to pay 25% of it only. Even if a most expensive one, she will still pay less than what she owed you. Jill said with a snort. I look at William for confirmation. He nodded and said, what Jill said right. In my opinion, you should buy 2 skills instead of 1. Few millions are nothing for her. Said Jill again. Look like Jill is not a fan of William's new girlfriend. William just smiles but didn't say anything. He is quite smart to know, not speak for the favor of girlfriend when in the company of sister or opposite. Okay, I'll select one, I said as William take me toward the shop and left. Chapter 165 Out of Realm 8. With William with me, no one dares to stop us as we directly went for the shop. I feel bad seeing those in line grumbling, but seeing Super Elite walking, no one objected loudly. Some wanted to object, but they stopped by those who were from and behind the one who wanted to object. Seeing us coming, Maya, William's girlfriend who was casually watching the movie behind the shop, came to the counter excitedly. Normal member of an organization is responsible for the selling of skill, while Maya, who is close to becoming super elite, is a supervisor, her job only to keep an eye on those who are selling the skills. William, you came. You must be Jill. I am Maya. William talked a lot about you, Jill, said Maya with a charming smile. I can see why William liked her so much. She is a very beautiful girl, the same level as Jim's girlfriend, and she also has the ability to back her beauty. She had greeted Michael and Jill with a charming smile while totally ignoring me. I smiled ruefully in my mind. These peoples of organizations, if they see normal adventurer, they will treat them like air, especially powerful members. Jim's girlfriend was also like this. I did not get sad seeing this, but instead, I feel even more inspired to work harder. To become strong enough so that they will acknowledge me on their own. Nice to meet you too, Maya. My brother wouldn't stop praising you, and I can why. Jill praised. There was not a speck of annoyance on her face or in her voice. It looked completely polite conversion, but one can sense raging undercurrent between them. I hope it's all good things, said Maya with her charming smile. A beautiful smile appears on Jill's face, and she was about reply when Michael cut in and stopped their war of polite words. Maya, we have come for a skill that you promised Michael, said Michael to Maya. Maya's cheeks reddened a little hearing William's voice, but she quickly controlled herself. Oh right, here are the 14 skill, choose one which you liked, she said lightly and counter-projected 14 screens containing information about 14 skills. Without care for Maya's words, I concentrated on the 14 screens of skill info. These 14 all are grade 1 skill, of the which 9 are attack type, 3 are defense type and 2 are related to speed. Of 9 attacking skills, 6 are skills which need specific type ability to activate, of which 4 abilities are needs elemental abilities while the last 2 needs other abilities. The 3 attack type skills which can be used by anyone, but only one is powerful and surpassed the 9 Raging Tides skill that I had. It is a great skill, somewhat similar to Jill's Night grade skill Piercing Spindle. This skill probably is watered down version of Piercing Spindle. But no matter how great they are, but they are not enough to injure B or B upper grade monster. A specialist grade can use the only fraction of its power as half skill. It is completely different when it used by corporal grade revolvers, as they could bring out its true power. It is the most expensive skill of all 14 skill, costing 6.3 million credits. I moved to 3 defense type skills. Of the 3 skill, 2 can be only used by this who have earth type ability, while the third one can be used by everyone, but its defense is very mediocre compared to other 2 defensive skills. I like one defense skill named Mud Wall. It has a very good defense, but unfortunately, it can be only used by those have to earth elemental ability. Sighing, I moved to last 2 speed type skills, and they are very good skills compared to other attack and defense type skill. First speed type skill has quite a peculiar name called Lively Wind. It is quite a good skill and increases the speed by lot. The more mana you put into, the faster your speed will be, but it has a great drawback. It uses too much of much mana. Mana is not a problem, as I have Treant Heart and potions which could expedite mana recovery. I would have definitely selected this skill if not for my heart is on the other skill. The last skill could not be totally considered speed type skill, but it has some elements of speed type skill. This skill called Fire Wind Sky Steps, quite a domineering name to get to the skill, but this skill worth it. Reading its description, any knowledgeable person can tell it is derived from Night grade skill, and the one derived it had done the job quite beautifully. Firewind Sky Steps is a skill that creates small foothold in the air with the help of your ability for the moment. It's like standing on the air for a moment. With the help of this skill, I can take a double jump in the sky or toward the monster. It had many applications and one can use it for attack and also evade. It is a multipurpose skill. With the help of this skill, I can make 7 footholds in the sky, but due to in specialist stage, I can make only 3, and each foothold will cost me 10% to 20% mana, but this skill also has a drawback though. The foothold is only 2 inches in diameter and can only stay in the sky for half a second. One will need good senses and balance to master this skill, but I am confident in myself. If I work hard, I will able to take at least 2 sky steps with it. I will take Fire Wind Sky Step skill, I said. Jill and William clearly startled by my choice, but they didn't object, as I am smart enough to skill to chose the skill with is best for me. Okay, place your holowatch in the counter, she said curtly. I did what she told me and placed my holowatch on the counter. Ting sounded in my holowatch stating, the skill transfer is complete. Seeing it is done, I turned to left. After this skill, taking the skill, I am still a little unwilling though. I also wanted the Lively Wind skill. Fire Wind Sky Steps were my first choice while Lively Wind my second. The combination of these 2 skills would have been amazing. I wanted to buy it, but I can't. According to my estimate, I have mana core worth little more than 4 million while the lively wind cost 5.2 million. Earlier when I line up for fire wind sky steps because I had enough money to buy it as it cost 3.8 million. Michael, you should buy more skills if you want. William has 50% discount here," said Jill. She must have seen unwillingness on my face. "There is no need, this one is enough," I said while shaking my head. "In a 50% discount, I can definitely afford it and I really wanted to buy it but I didn't. I don't give them the impression that I am using our friendship for gain and even my pride wouldn't let me do that." "Don't you consider me your friend? If you really didn't see me as a friend then you didn't have to," Jill said angrily. Fighting side by side few days, she really knew all my strength and weakness. In the attacking side, I have no need for the skill. Any normal person could tell I have a powerful night grade skill and all the attack type here won't be much against B and upper B grade monster other than providing the strength of self-preservation. What I lack in speed and defense and these skills would help to increase my speed and defense. I wanted to say no but seeing her expression and knowing her nature, I know she would feel bad if I didn't accept it. "Okay, I'll take lively wind," I said as this is the only thing which could help me in tomorrow's battle. I can see the Maya expression, her eyes clearly showing disdain for me. She is defiantly thinking I am using her boyfriend and his sister for my gain and all was an act, her disdain even more increase after seeing Ashlyn in my hands. One can definitely tell she is low-grade beast and one is slightly knowledgeable, can easily able to species of Ashlyn mutated from. "I'll pay," I said firmly when I saw Michael came forward and taking out monster cores from his pocket. Michael and Jill wanted to reject my request but hearing firmness in my voice, they let me pay for my skill. I quickly take out monster cores worth of 2.6 million from my backpack to pay for skill. Jill wanted to buy me another skill but I rejected it and quickly left toward my tent. Jill also came with me seeing her brother had no intention of leaving as he is quite busy with his girlfriend. Chapter 166 out of Real, Final Battle 9. I looked at monsters crazily attacking the blue dun, one will just shake in fear taking one look at them. The most fear produced by the gigantified monsters which our numbers had reached near hundreds. Their expression looked like they want to eat you into a single bite. Many people had an expression of fear on their faces seeing the monsters but there is also confidence. Their confidence stems from the skill they have brought yesterday, from which they would have the power of self-preservation. 4,000 people divided into 10 groups are lined up across the whole dome. Each group had their territory and they will fight in their own territory. The groups are divided brilliantly, no matter how many monsters came, they will effectively handle by the 10 groups. There is another good news that Jill had told me earlier, that there is some reinforcement came with her brother yesterday from Westblood. Having one more super elite can change the course of the battle and from the way Jill was talking there is definitely more than one super elite came from the Westblood. My eyes are a little red due to insufficient sleep I got. Yesterday afternoon after I brought the skill, I started to study it immediately. Within 3 hours, I understood the basic part of both skills which I would need for today's battle. Compared to night grade skill, grade 1 skill are very easy to understand and those who have already understood the night grade skill, it is easy for them. After studying I started to practice it as they allowed half the dome for skill practice. I got the grasp of lively wind pretty quickly and luckily, the more mana you feed it to the lively wind, the more faster your speed will get and while practicing I heard quite interesting use of this skill. This skill is a little special. It is true that this skill uses lots of mana but that is only applied when you want maximum speed. The special use of this skill is that you can keep it always active. You just need to keep supplying it minute amount of mana and when you need to dodge an attack, you can instantly feed it a large amount of mana and increase your speed. Seeing this use many people started to flock for this skill at shops that this skill became the best selling in the camp. While lively wind is one of the easiest to master fire wind sky steps is the hardest, while practicing I can't remember exactly how many times I fell. Bruises had formed on my face and bones broke while practicing this skill. As a description had said that this skill will form foothold of a 2-inch diameter which is less than half of my feet size and that foothold will only hold for half a second. After jumping I have to quickly activate this skill. forming the foothold below my feet and use it as leverage to take the second jump with the strength of only one leg. I've come across many challenges while practicing this skill. The first challenge is that I have to activate this skill at the perfect timing of my need, either when I'm going up or falling down or between both. Second is that within half second of activating the skill, I have to balance myself on half-inch diameter foothold without falling and then leverage it to take the second jump without falling. It seemed easy, but it is very, very difficult. One needs extreme coordination to perform this skill. I failed hundreds of times, fell on the ground with many unimaginable angels, one time even hurt my crown jewels as I didn't activate my armor while practicing. I learned that lesson in a hard way. That's not the end of it. At specialist stage, this skill can help you make 3 footholds. Creating and jumping on 3 footholds consecutively is very hard compared to doing that in 1 foothold, but one able to do that one would reach unimaginable benefit from it. I practiced till late midnight and gained basic mastery over it, but it cost me my sleep as I am able to sleep for only 2 hours. The dome will open in 30 seconds. Shouted unknown super elite. Hearing this, everybody became tense and gripped their weapons tightly. There are more than 30,000 monsters made of 8 species in total. The first monster is Treant obviously, second is another plant-type snake monster which looked like it made of violet grass, that is why everyone calling it violet grass snake. The third monster is chimpanzee monster which had sharp thorns made of rock all over its body, we named rock thorn chimpanzee. It is one the dangerous monster here. I have seen it bore a hole into another monster without much obstruction as thorns around its hands which revolved at high speed. Fourth monster is black slime toad, which had black slime flowing all over its body, whatever it touched will be melt. The fifth is copper rhino which had a full body of copper color and even its hair also made of copper. Sixth is another snake-type monster which has ugly dots all over its body and all people it calling it dotted snake. This name gave a completely different feeling to one. It shoots poisons which directly corrode the skin as long as it made the contact. The seventh monster is flying-type monsters, they had the highest numbers. They are wind crows, they attack with sharp small wind blades. The last and most dangerous monster species that attacking us is fiery lion, they have the shortest numbers but they are extremely dangerous. They are fire elemental monsters and have wide-range attack named Fire Tide which can engulf the area of 10 meters easily, but this is not their most dangerous attack. Their most dangerous attack is their claws which split the Rick Thorn ape in tow with a single claw attack. They are definitely be upper grade monsters, only they can do this foot. All the monster are bipedal monsters except for 2 snakes and crow monsters. The dome is opening. I heard sound from behind, the blue dome is opening and monsters growled excitedly seeing that as they tried to get in with madness and hunger in their eyes. Chapter 167 Out of Real, Final Battle X. I can see the force field opening, they are going to a quarter of the dome. This entrance may seem small but it's very large, hundreds of monster came inside, there is a problem even 4 gigantified monsters come together. Growl. A giant copper rhino rushed in crushing thousands of normal monsters with his 2 giant legs. It the first monster that came inside the dome, but before it could attack anyone, it was killed by the attack of super elites. It didn't even last for than 10 seconds. Its giant body fell, crushing tens of monsters that were behind. With super elites, many people launch attacks at monsters that are coming through the open space, but as used, there are too many monsters and they could not kill all of them. I asked Jill why they are opening the quarter part of the dome as this huge entrance and 15,000 monsters could easily enter within 10 minutes and there will be many casualties. She said that they had finished the battle before evening or monsters from other areas also would come and that time we will have more monsters in our hand that we could handle. That time we will suffer more casualties in our hand. More monsters started to pour in and the corporal level started to fight with them. Caw caw caw. The wind crows entered inside the dome and started to attack with sharp wind blades. That God. That everyone has received instruction on surviving against wind blades. One has to give preference to mask if they have one or at least cover head with something that able to obstruct the wind blades. These wind blades were so sharp that whatever they touched will be cut clean. I saw a group of wind crows as coming toward us from the sky and on the ground, there is a group Treants, rockthorn ape and violet grass snake. I felt relieved seeing only these monsters are coming and not fiery lions. I have seen the terror of fiery lion just now. Normal warrior of the same level can't even block the single attack of them, with a single claw. The fiery lion had sent boy same level as it flying like a cannonball. The boy had already become heavily injured when it fiery claw clashed against him. I don't know if he is alive or not after crashing on the ground. I saw Super Elite running toward him and feeding him something, but I didn't know he survived or not. As moved my gaze and looked at monsters that are coming toward us from the sky and the ground. Zip zip zip. Numerous wind blade attacks came from the sky. I dodged and defended against them while Jill had already started using her long-range skill. A winding crow will die every time she launched her attacks. I kept defending against them as it is not the time to launch my attack. The group of the surface monster coming toward us in full force attacking whoever that comes in their way. This battle is complete than another battle. Here monster had started feeling every corner of it. This time there is nothing like you pick your monster and fight with it. This time you have to fight every monster your eyes fall on while keeping eye on your back as monsters are everywhere. Growl. I heard loud growl seeing group monsters had come near us with copper rhinos at the front, and in that group, I saw that monster I've been waiting for. Now it is time for me to attack, I said in my mind seeing group crows in the sky while I started to feed lively wind large amount of mana and jumped high. I had been keeping lively wind activated for some time right now at minimum mana, but now, I that need it, instantly feed a large amount of mana. Whoosh. I jumped up with a whoosh. This speed is costing me 5% of my mana every second, but I am sure my attack will be done in 3 to 4 seconds. As I speedily jumped up at high with the help of lively wind, but it is far from enough to reach the where a group of wind crows is flying, but I have a plan. Fire wind sky steps. I activated second skill as I near losing the momentum of my jump. A small 2-inch diameter formed a foothold formed below my right feet. If one take a look at it, one will think it made of fire, and it is right. The reason this skill called Fire Wind Sky Steps because it can be used by only those who have either fire or wind ability, as this is the ability which made a foothold in the air. Whoosh! I took the second jump with the help of the foothold. The group crows noticed me finally and started to attack, but I already had a shield prepared for it. Dub dub dub, half of the wind blades collided against my shield but another half against my body. It felt like knives are slicing me. Without stopping by their attack, I created the second foothold and took a second jump. God! I said as I nearly fell while taking a jump. Yesterday when I practiced there was no obstruction, but now, I am taking the jump with the help of tiny foothold while receiving many attacks. I let go of lively wind and sky steps as the power of this jump would be enough to help crash onto the group of wind crows. The nearer I got, more attack I received from the wind crows. I didn't back down and charged toward it with the momentum of the crows. First tide. Second tide. Third tide. I activated as I about to crash into the wind crows. A minority of crows fled seeing me crashing toward them, but the majority of them still stayed and continued to attack. Caw caw caw. They cawed loudly as I crashed into their group, but I didn't pay heed and swung my sword in full circle. The wind crows are speed and attack type monsters and had very low defense. Even grade 1 skill is lethal to the initial level wind crows. Pierce Poochie Pierce Poochie. Many winds crows around me either cut or injured by the sword and started to fall down, but I don't have time to count how many crows that I had to kill as I am about to lose the momentum of my jump. I stopped the circulation of 9 raging tides despite its running period isn't over. I have no needed in the next part of my plan. I swiftly take a look downward and decisively 8 to 2 pieces of Treant heart. I will need them for what I am going to do. Next moment I lost momentum and started to fall, but I wasn't worried as I launched my next attack. Fire Strike. A silver bolt of fire shot through my sword and directly pierced the head of 12-meter-long violet grass snake who was directly below me and had its mouth ready to eat me. I felt weakness for the moment due to huge mana loss, but quickly refreshing spread through my body, filling up all the mana that I've lost. I am still falling down and I've yet to kill the real target for which I've taken such a huge risk. Sky Steps. I activated Sky when I am halfway into falling to both limits my fall and pounced toward my target, which is Treant. In midair, with the help of foothold, I pounce toward the treat which is attacking Jill and another boy at the same time. Jill is doing fine, killing monster every few seconds, but the boy in bad condition as he is taking attacks from various monsters. It is luck that I willing to lessen his burden by killing one of the monsters that are attacking him. Fire strike. I attacked after I got a clear view of its weak spot without instruction from its branches and tongue. Like other monsters that died by my fire strike, it died without knowing what killed him. Crash. I crashed against its branches of trance, but before any monster could notice me, I burrowed toward Treant's trunk. Its thick and verdant branches should be able to save me for eyes another monster for a few seconds. That will be enough for me get my price, for which I did such a dangerous attack for. Chapter 168 Out of Realm, Final Battle 11. I faint refreshing power travel through my body, taking away most of my weakness as I silently move towards the trunk of the Treant. I now have about 30% mana left in my body, which should be enough, I think. I finally reached the Treant's trunk and could see the small hole made by Firebolt. First time when I started to use Fire Strike skill, I used to miss some time, but now I have practiced on hundreds of monsters that I barely miss my targets. First tide. Second tide. Third tide. I placed my sword inside that small hole and made it big enough that my hand could get. I weakly took my hand inside the hole. I had to provide extra mana to skill to make the hole big enough. If it was previous Treants that I faced, I wouldn't even have to use the skill to make the hole with my current strength. I removed adult fist-size mana heart and I was surprised to find it purple instead to green like the mana heart of another treat. I took the small bite, half the size of Treant heart pieces that I had in my sleeve, as I'd been warned about peculiarities of this Treant heart by William. The small bite of Treant heart felt like a piece of ice in my mouth, and soon it melted completely and frigid cold feeling spread all over my body. That God, I was already prepared, otherwise I would have caught off guard. William had told me earlier that mana heart of this treatment would give a feeling of frigid ice instead of refreshing feeling that other mana heart gave. Soon I got familiar with it and was able to move my limbs freely. It is just a feeling and nothing else. This feeling didn't affect the body. As long as I kept my emotions in check, I can definitely eat it amidst battle without affecting by its biting cold feeling. I decided it in 21 small parts and put inside the holes in my sleeve. I took all that risk as this Treant's heart. As long as didn't have it, I can instantly gain mana in second and use my skill without care. Counting these pieces of mana heart, I have total 35 pieces, which would be able to last me for a little more hour in this battle. I will have to kill another Treant monster, especially after an hour, to keep a supply of mana heart. Gaining the Treant's heart, I feel lit more relieved. Now I can fight without care for the world, at least for an hour. Growl. I was thinking of taking a few more seconds of rest when I heard the growl of Copper Rhino as it is coming toward me. Fire Strike. I launched the Fire Strike, seeing the minster is as I will hardly get a chance if a group of monsters attacked me. Thud. Its dead body fell with the thud, but that noise attracted the attention of monsters. 2 black slime toads and 1 rockthorn ape came toward me from the distance. I quickly piece of the Treant heart for mana recovery as I felt the cold sensation all over my body. I wanted to use Fire Strike again to kill another monster, but the black slime toads too fast. Croak croak, they croaked loudly, attack me with their tongue. There also had black corrosive substance like skin. Once touch it can melt skin, and in large amount, it can even damage my grade 1 artifacts. Whoosh. I activated Lively Wind and feed it enough mana that I would avoid their attack. I dodged their attack to the left as in the right rockthorn ape is attacking me, but before I could launch an attack at them, I saw Swift Windblade attacking me from above, and they are so swift that I don't think I can avoid them. See. I took a sharp breath as I felt 100 of knives piercing my skin. This is definitely mid-level wind crows attacking me. The initial level doesn't have this power and quantity. I am lucky that it is only mid-level wind crows. If it were peak level, then this wind blades definitely would have passed by armor and injured me heavily. Dead growl. Rockthorn ape loudly drummed its chest and ran toward me, but unfortunately, its speed is too low. It can't catch me when I using the lively wind. Sizzle. The black tongues of black slime toad attack me. I dodged them, but this time few drops of slime from their tongue sprinkled on my armor and it made the sizzling sound. Thank God. The amount is very little, otherwise armor would have burned by this corrosive substance. Black slime toads are one of the ugliest monsters I've ever seen. They looked bloated as they stood on the two legs while black substance could be seen dripping from their body. Wherever that black substance hit on the ground, sizzling noise could be heard. I keep dodging the attack of surface monsters while bearing the burn of wind blades falling from above. If I did not have this lively wind, I would have definitely beaten black and blue by these monsters. I wanted to attack from the sky, but in the air are mid-level wind crows. If it were initial level, I would have jumped without fear, but it different for mid-level wind crows. Bam! I heard loud bam above me, and when I looked to see, the whole group of mid-level crows annihilated by long-range skill. I did not see who attacked it, but I did not waste this God-give chance. I activated sky steps at the same time. I started to feed a large amount of mana to the lively wind and jumped. I made the first foothold with sky steps and take the high jump, and as I reached high enough I made the second foothold. I took the second jump. While going up I ate the 2 pieces mana heart and felt frigid all over my body. At this distance, the tongue of black slime toad won't able to reach me. Fire strike. I activated my skill, shot the silver bolt of fire through my sword, and it hit it without on the spot. As I lose the momentum and started to fall, I again activated sky step to managing my fall and to launch the second attack. Fire strike. I launched another attack at the second black toad, killing it one shot. Thud. I landed on the ground with a thud and could see Fire Thornape charging toward. Seeing that, I smiled and was about to activate lively wind when I felt intense danger behind my back. Roar. A loud roar of fiery lion rang out behind me, and when I craned my neck a little, I saw Fire Tide coming toward me. There is no way I could dodge. It spread 10 meters around me. Even if I feed all my mana into the lively wind, I still won't be able to get out of Fire Tide's range in time. Chapter 169 Out of Realm, Final Battle 12. It wouldn't take long to that fire engulf me. Even Rock Thornape had stopped midway seeing Fiery Lion attacking. There is no chance of me dodging that fire. Even if I activate lively wind, the fire will still engulf me, and that time I will become a living target. My body would be engulfed in fire, which will definitely attack more monsters than normal, and I even might attract more of fiery lions by running around bathed in fire. There is no problem surviving at fire. I have confidence in myself that I could come out of it relatively unharmed. The problem is what comes afterward. Surviving after is the problem. It will definitely attack me physically after its Fire Tide attack, and that's the main problem. I will have to use that chance when it will come to attack me physically. I thought all that in a fraction of a second, and after making a plan, I started its execution without delay. I moved my sleeve toward my mouth to eat the pieces of Treant heart while at the same time using my fire ability to cover myself in my silver fire. Every inch of my body is covered in fire, leaving no corner behind. The Fire Tide touched me and I ate the pieces of Treant same time. I don't know how many pieces I ate, but it is definitely more than 5. Next second I overcome with feeling hot and cold, and at the same time. Hot from the fiery lion's power that is engulfing me, and cold from the Treant's heart that I just ate. Both sensation clashes in body, but I can feel the fire of engulfing me becoming stronger, and the frigid cold sensation of Treant's heart is drowned by them. My silver fire is covering my body, but the fire of Fiery Lion is very powerful and sticky quality into it, that it even started to burn my silver fire slowly. I started to feel hot all over my body. If I didn't do anything soon, the Fiery Lion's fire will burn all my fire and seep into my body after it overcomes the defense of the artifact in my body. Without care for mana, I started to release more and more silver fire to fight off against the fire of Fiery Lion. The heat I am feeling is elevated a little, but I can feel Fiery Lion's fire is covering my silver fire. Good thing this, I have my whole body protection of armor and mask, and very little fire could touch me, but not for their protection. The Fiery Lion's fire would engulf me more. I don't know when I am fighting against the power of the Fiery Lion. Ashlyn inside me tried to sense it with all her heart. This is the first time since her birth she sensed the fire that barely comes under her eyes. Michael and even Ashlyn herself don't realize the real reason she hates eating the monster cores. Once Michael tried to feed her fiery lion core, he will understand the real reason. It all looked much time had passed, but there had been barely 2 seconds since I've received the attack of the fire tide. I tried to clear the fire around my mask to clear my vision. The monster will attack me at any second. I control the fire of fiery lion around me, not let it seep into my armor and then into my body, and best way to do that, let consume itself by burning my silver fire. I have no worry about mana as I ate more than 5 pieces earlier, my body filled to the brim with mana. As soon as I consume it, it will be filled again. Roar. Idiot. I said in my mind. If it had not roared loudly, I would have taken little more time finding it and there would have a chance, it would have survived due to my unclear vision, but now. That idiot disclosed its location, while it's swiftly coming toward me, but if I had already my attack prepared. Fire strike. I shouted and launched an attack. It didn't even get the chance to dodge as firebolt had pierced its skill. No matter which grade of monster it is, as long as it is the same level as me, it is 99% dead as long as I air right. There are some anomalies like an azure monkey, but it was peak and mid-level that dodged my firebolt, not initial level. See. I took a sharp breath in pain as I diverted all my attention on the attack that forgot that fiery lion's power still covering my, now that little of it slips from the crack of my armor. It didn't hurt me much as chilling power of Treant Heart is still traveling my body. I scrambled to control it and started to wet it with my sliver fire. If one looks at me from outside, they will see me as living torch who has silver and yellow fire covering his body. Those with the keen eye can definitely tell I am in no danger despite being a living torch. I have to say the fire of Fiery Lion is one of the most lethal fire I've ever experienced. Not only it is dense, but it had a sticky quality to it that is very hard to remove. I had been trying to wet it for few seconds but hadn't been successful yet. It will take me a minute more to consume the whole fire. I just hope I won't be an attack sneakily. I am just a few seconds away from putting away all the fire when I sensed something which made me extremely happy. Leveling up. I am leveling up. Seeing this sensation, I know that I am leveling up. It was no mistake. With so much power of Treant Heart in my body, it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes to level up. Bang! Suddenly I felt life-threatening danger, but before I could see which monster attacked me, I flung away like a cannonball. I am not surprised by receiving such a sneak attack. I have seen many people suffering from it. I just hoped that I had received this attack after leveling up. Chapter 170 Out of Realm, Final Battle 13. Bam! Next moment I crashed against something and felt like I am rolling and entangling in something soft. I hope that it's not dangerous monsters, otherwise I have to bear more injuries while leveling up. I waited for a few moments but I did not receive any attack, and when opened my eyes a few seconds later, why hadn't I received an attack? I crashed against the gigantified monster and seeing the fur of golden yellow color, it is probably a fiery lion. I seemed to entangle in its thick fur. I tried to move but I can't due to my heavy injuries. It hadn't been more than 4 minutes since I had eaten the pieces of Treant Heart. Lots of their chilling power is traveling inside my body, both healing it and providing mana for my level up. I just stayed entangled without moving, let my body heal and level up, and after that, I am going to kill the bastard who sneak attacked me. As I started to gain a feeling of my body, I felt little hot, only to find there is still little fire if the fiery lion that hadn't consumed, which is now burning my body little by little. I am in no mood to care for it. It will only able to injure me little as nearly all of it wetted by me. The injuries I am receiving from it will be healed by the power of Treant Heart. After 2 minutes, I gained little control over my limbs and I ate 2 more pieces of Treant Heart to speed up my breakthrough and leveling up. The chilling feeling of Treant Heart gave me some relief against the burning injury than I received by fire. 2 more minutes passed and most of my injuries had been healed, but the most important part is in 3 minutes, I will be leveled up the mid-level of specialist grade. I can feel the mana that is coursing through my veins, and after I fully became mid-level specialist grade revolver, my mana will increase again. I will be able to use all my skill more efficiently, and most importantly I am dying to know how many fire bolts I will be able to release with my fire strike. I wish it will be 5, but I know that's near impossible. It will be my good luck if I am able to release 3 bolts, seeing the quality of my fire. If I had the fire of Fiery Lion, I am pretty sure I would be able to release more than 10 bolts of fire at the mid-level of specialist grade. Roar. I heard loud roar not far me. When I craned my neck, I saw Fiery Lion sniffing around looking for something. So this bastard is most likely that sneaked attack me and now sniffing for my trace. I now understand why it was able to sneak attack on me. It's peak level specialist stage monster in the upper category. It power greater than the monster same level as it on the battlefield. It was my good luck that I crashed against the gigantified Fiery Lion's dead and deeply entangled between its hairs right now, or I would have been easily caught. Finally, I said in mind, the leveling up is completed and I can feel raging mana of mid-level specialist grade in my veins. I just want to jump up and kill that bastard who's still sniffing around for my trace. If I make about the movement it would immediately, and that would have been fine if not me deeply in this shit. I can only make a small movement without being restricted by its hair. I still have a sword in my hand, albeit deactivated, but it also a good thing. I activated my sword and control its size, that of the short knife. I never did openly manipulated the size of my sword, fear of it being identified as night grade artifact. If known it would bring me a shitload of trouble. The first tide. I activated the power of the first tide and silently started to cut the hairs of a Fiery Lion that has to entangle me. My regular strength is not enough to cut the hair without fuss and activation. First tide create minimum fluctuated. The knife in my hand started to cut my hair as it is butter, and each passing second my body got more freed. The power 9 raging strike given a boost by my level up. The power of 9 raging strike depend upon my physical prowess, and each tide will multiply at 1. So now that my physical strength increased by my level up, then it is obvious that power of 9 raging strikes will also increase. Soon I cut all the hair entangling me, but still laid hidden as I search for a perfect chance for attack. I have to commend this monster for its tenacity. It had been more than 10 minutes since it attacked me, but it's still searching for me. If other monsters were in its place, they would have definitely had lost interest after few minutes. Suddenly it jumped on the monster's body and started sniffing ferocious. I did not make any abrupt movement, seeing that stayed rooted in my spot as prepared for an attack. As long as it will give me a slight chance, I will attack at this distance. I don't a thing, it will able to dodge it. Roar. I was about to attack it when I heard the deafening lion roar and saw big Fiery Lion coming toward the giant body. It is even bigger than the one front of me. It's defiantly corporal level, I thought, and confirmed it from the aura it excluding from the distance. Hearing that loud roar, the attitude of the monster in front of me changed. It turned ferocious to meek in second, and I can see that that roar isn't directed at minster front me. The Fiery Lion, seeing the corporal level coming toward the gigantified body, it's tucked its tail between its legs and fled without wasting any second. I didn't get chance to curse at it, seeing corporal level Fiery Lion coming toward it, while wildly attacking whatever comes in it, maybe it either human or monster. My heartbeat started to quicken seeing it coming toward. It came near the body with heavy steps and attacked the human and monster that fighting nearby without discrimination with its fire tide. After coming near the body, it attacked many monsters and human who fighting near it and started to walk away from it. I heaved a sigh of relief seeing that. Abruptly it stopped and moved. It directly looked at me where I am hiding. I know I am busted. It knows I am hiding it here. It smiled hideously and opened its mouth to launch fire tide at me. I am fucked. If that fire touched me, I am definitely going to be burned alive. I have zero confidence surviving that fire. Fuck it. I said internally, it does or dies right now. I am definitely going die, but I will sure as hell not going to heaven without any fight. I would have hoped to live when facing peak specialist level monster, but against corporal level Fiery Lion, I don't think my silver bolt able to kill it even if it's squarely on its temple. My only hope that any super elite save me before its attack landed on me, but despite hoping, I no chances of being saved by super elite near zero. I could only try my best and injure it a little before dying. I have less than a second to attack, as it looks less than second for it to launch fire tide. Fire strike. Suddenly I stood up the attack. The silver bolt shot out my sword toward its head. Seeing bolt coming toward it, it dodged by moving its head, but it lost concentration and the attack it is preparing diffused. Roar. It roared loudly, seeing it lost concentration due to the puny creature. It went mad to come toward me swift speed. I can see its sharp claws which could easily tear my armor off without much effort. I suddenly come to myself and sense there is still power left in my shirt, and that time, the fiery already crossed distance between us. Fire strike! I launched a silver bolt of fire. It went so fast that monster barely had time to react, but it still dodges it, but not entirely, as silver bolt grazed by its cheek. Roar! It raised madly seeing my attack touched it. It increased its speed and only 2 meters away from. Sensing there is still power in my sword, I launch my last attack hoping to injure it a little before dying by its claws. Fire strike! I said, and the silver bolt shot through my sword when monster little more than away from. Time had turned even slower than before, and I can see silver bolt ever so slowly charging toward the monster while it trying to dodge, but its speed too fast and it approached its head before it could move its head even a little. I've expected this. It is near impossible to dodge my silver bolt at such close distance, even if it is corporal level monster. I just wanted to see it get injured before dying, but what I saw next completely blew my mind. My silver bolt moved toward its head, more exactly toward it. The monster wanted to close its eyelid, but it was too slow and bolt entered in its eyes. Bam! Suddenly I felt each and everything turned normal, and next moment I saw the monster in front of my eyes as it crashed against me with bam, sending me to oblivion for a moment. Chapter 171 Out of Realm, Final Battle 14. Bam! The monster's body collided against me and I lost consciousness for the moment. Next second, when I got conscious, I got relieved to find I am still on the giant body of fiery lion. That was close shave to death, I said internally and started checking my injuries. I got surprised to find that there was no claw mark on my body and just the fiery lion's body collided against me, sending me away. I still received heavy injuries though, but they are manageable as long as I eat the treant heart. I quickly ate one treant heart and chilling sensation spreading all over my body, healing my injuries. My face changed a little seeing how few treant's heart left in my sleeve. I quickly have to kill another treant monster to replenish my reserve. This time I healed completely without disturbance. Before joining battle I first want to access my abilities. After leveling up, my mana reserve got bigger. With it, I will have an easier time executing much skill without worrying about mana. One thing that made me most happy that now, I can launch 3 mana bolt with fire strike and mana it will cost me the same as before, about 85%. After reaching my mana and abilities, I got up and take a look at the battlefield. I got little startled by what I saw. There seemed to be 6 new super elites in the battlefield with many more elites. I thought they would be bringing 2 or 3 super elites if we are lucky, but never expected them to bring 6 of them. With 15 super elites, the battlefield mostly controlled, although monsters keep boring in, people handling it well with rising momentum. One thing I found most fascinating that I've never seen super elite drinking any potion to replenish their mana no matter how many attacks they launched. I will ask William about this if I got the chance. I stayed hidden for 2 minutes before spotting my target. I stood up and jumped forward while activating both lively wind and sky steps. With both skills activating together, not only my speed is fast but I can also jump longer. After jumping from a second foothold, I made the third foothold seeing my target is still little way. Zup zup zup. Seeing I am jumping in the sky, I quickly come under a barrage of wind blades, but except for they didn't do much damage as long as it is not corporal level 1 that is not attacking me. Attacking from the sky is one of the safest methods. There is no obstruction from the surface monsters. And I am at a relatively high distance from which not treants branches not black slime toad to reach me. Jumping from the third foothold I attacked, fire strike. I wave my sword 3 times consecutively. Seeing I have 3 silver fire bolts in my hand, I decided the other 2 bolts to kill the dotted snake and black slime toad that were near it. I started to go down as I lost the momentum of a jump, but as I was falling I activated sky steps again and created a foothold. With the help of my landing had become a breeze. I quickly went treant and removed it mana heart. I divided its pieces into my sleeves and started the fight again. Time passed by as I keep fighting. The monsters are getting killed every minute of the collective effort of everyone. There are casualties, but most of the people quickly saved by the super elites. Only unlucky some people like me who were reached near death door, some crossed while others are saved by their efforts or others. It's been 4 hours since I've been fighting and I've got many times seriously injured and sneaked attack, but I survived. The battle had become completely chaotic. I am fighting at a completely different place that I was fighting before. I have no idea where Jill or my other teammates are, but I am sure they will be fine knowing their strength. As I fought, I especially targeted Treants. Whenever I spot the Treant, and I will kill it first and then take out its heart right away without waiting for later. These hearts will help me very much in the future. The 4 hours were quite dangerous but also quite fortunate. I learned quite a lot and got the full control over my strength as I have just leveled up. The most important thing is about my skill Fire Strike. Whenever I activated the Fire Strike it would take near 90% of my mana, and it's the same after leveling up, but now it's different. I've come to know that if I supply only 30% mana to Fire Strike, it will produce only single firebolt. Now I don't have to feed 90% of my mana to Fire Strike for 3 fire bolts when I have only need for 1. Although I would have come to know this eventually in a week or 2 after researching skill, it's good, now that accidentally discovered it. My other 2 skill contribution is not less than Fire Strike. With the combination of both, digging and avoiding attacking became easy, but most importantly it makes attacking extremely easy through the help of Sky Steps. No monster ever able to dodge my attack which I launched through the mid-air. In these 4 hours, we have killed nearly half of the monster, and if we go on at this speed, we will finish this battle by mid-afternoon. I feel a little frightening to thinking that 4,000 people will able to finish more than 30,000 powerful monsters in 8 to 9 hours. In one point of view, it seems extremely hard, near impossible, but on another point of it seem very possible. Everyone here had been fighting monsters non-stops for near 3 weeks. In these 3 weeks, except for sleeping, they fight. They fought so much in the 3 weeks that it had become an instinct. In the fighting not only they leveled up, but they also gained immense experience, and let's not forget the environment of this realm which helps them rapidly increase the purity of their mana as long as they had not reached the great limit. I can say with confidence that every person who entered this realm with the specialist power had reached the great limit, and some of these had reached the purity of 90%, and there is no need to talk about corporal level 1. As time passed by, more and more monster got killed and pressure is also lessened, which in turn increased the speed on monster killing. By the time early afternoon came, only 3,000 monsters remained which were killed every second. That time I had expertly looked at the entrance, as this is the when monsters launched another surprise attack, and I expect they did launch it with about 150 gigantified monsters. The gigantic monster came with a loud noise. They looked very scary and threatening, but they were not able to do much except squishing one as idiot, who forgot run for whatever reason. The gigantified monsters were killed in 15 minutes of entering the dome. It would have taken longer if there were normal 5,000 monsters instead of them. Soon after the gigantified minister is dead, the people became more enthusiastic about killing monsters that they finished the whole 3,000 monsters within half an hour. Chapter 172 Out of Realm, Harvest 15. Poochie. The black arrow pierced the head of the person directly. He is the 3rd person to die in the last 5 minutes. As the fight finished, it was the harvest time, and seeing there is near 35,000 monsters' carcass here, there is no way to know who killed which monster. To ensure no chaos would descend during harvesting, they made a simple rule. One can harvest any monster aside from gigantified one, and once one had staked a claim on the carcass, other has no right to harvest it even if they're that monsters killed by one. Those who broke the rule will be punished, and the death is the biggest punishment. I don't think anyone would fight, seeing there are about 35,000 monsters are lying around. They are more than enough for everyone, but not all people are smart, like 3 that just had died, and about 10 those have their limbs cut as punishment. Death is last option of punishment, and they only killed those who removed their weapon to attack. Such cruel word, just for a simple mistake they are killing for it, but is also necessary to maintain the order. Seeing 3rd death, everyone clearly understood that there is no mercy to those who made trouble, and silently started to harvest the monster core without making trouble. Choo-choo. I heard Ashlyn chirp and quickly followed her with my quickest speed, even activate lively wind at full speed to follow her. After the battle was over, Ashlyn came out of me. I asked her to help me find the unharvested Treant closest to me and ask her to give priority corporal level Treant. while following Ashlyn as I continued to wish that no one find it before I reached there, as it happened more than half of the time. Quickly I saw the unharvested treant as Ashlyn landed in it. I turned happy seeing no one harvesting but the corner of my eye. I saw another girl running toward it, but when she saw my speed, she knew she wasn't going to reach it and walked away. My luck is good, I said as I reached near corporal grade treant. Seeing there is already a hole its trunk, my smile widened again. If there had been not any hole on its trunk, then I would have had to make my few mana bolts. First tide. Second tide. Third tide. I activated the power of 3 tides and lively wind and started to press my sword into the already made hole to widen it. This trick is also I discovered accidentally when I activate both 9 raging tides and lively wind, the power of attacks increased strangely. This trick really helped me a lot removing the heart of corporal level treant. This trick has a drawback though, it takes a shitload of mana, but that mana nothing compares to treant heart. In a few seconds, I widened the hole big enough to take out the treant heart. My eyes started to shine seeing the crystalline purple heart. After taking a good look at it, I ran toward another treant that Ashlyn found, hoping to get it unharvested. I keep harvesting one treat after another, sometimes my luck is good and sometimes bad. 15 minutes after the battle is finished, people harvested all the treant and finally moved toward the other monsters. As I moved toward the other monsters, I started to harvest the core of every monster except for Rockthord Ape. Its defense is really strong and did not worth effort as the time it will take me to remove core out it. I would have received 3 scores of other monsters. 3 monsters have most weaker defense compared to the other monsters that we fought on the battlefield. First is wind crows, second is treants, and third is black slime toad. One has to be little careful of that black slime on the monster. As I harvest the core, my first choice is fiery lions. There are multiple reasons for choosing it despite it had the second best defense. There is much reason for choosing it. First is that it is the upper monster L, which core contain more energy than normal monsters. Second is that it is elemental monster core, but most important it had fire elemental monster core, which is best suitable for Ashlyn to eat. It is the core of the upper B specialist stage monster and it has the strongest fire I've ever experienced. It would be really helpful if Ashlyn able upgrade her fire ability because of it. I will even ask for few corporal levels fiery lions core from William for Ashlyn to eat. I used the same trick as I used on the treant to remove the cores. First I make a hole on it heart with few fires bolt, then widen it with a combination of 2 of my grade 1 skill. After 2.5 hours the whole harvesting is finished, and when I saw Jill I walked toward her. Where were you? I hadn't seen you ever since the battle started. Jill said an exclamation as she came and hugged me. After 2 minutes of battle started we had drifted apart fighting the battle. I hadn't seen her since then, but I knew she would be fine. I am about to reply to her when gasp come from her mouth. You leveled up? She asks in astonishment. It is normal for her who is high-grade monster if she leveled up twice in a week. No one will think about it twice, but it is extremely difficult for people like me who had lowest of low-grade monster both in power and talent. I did not take offense at her astonishment as it was quite normal for being shocked seeing my progress. She was about to apologize realizing her mistake, but I cut in before she could. I was just lucky. I said we talked for a few minutes before we noticed the blue dome is turning off and they started to remove artifact off the ground. Prepare to leave if everything went all right. You will eat tonight dinner with the safety of your home, said a super elite as we prepared to leave. Chapter 173 Return Home. I. Choo choo. Ashlyn landed on my shoulder as we started leaving our camp. She was flying happily in the sky, but I asked her to come down seeing we are leaving. Get in, Ashlyn, there is danger ahead. I asked her to come inside me, expecting her to integrate inside me after giving me chirp of annoyance. Choo choo. Ashlyn chirp in defense saying she doesn't want to go inside me. I got startled hearing that. Don't be stubborn, there is danger ahead, I said motioning toward the thick wood after clearing. Choo choo. She chirped again refusing to go inside me. If it was in my control, I would have forcefully dragged her inside me, but alas I can't do that. Fine. Just don't fly away from my shoulder, I said. I can understand why she is doing that. Today is the last day of us in this realm if I were to believe what super elites say. then it will be our last 2 hour in this realm. She must have sensed this from my emotions, and now she probably wanted to eat some fruit before going back home. It will be very hard for her to get this much tasty fruits and back home. The fruits such tasty and enriching could only be found in a realm like this which has decent mana. Everyone suddenly stopped chattering as we entered the woods, and next moment we were attacked by a small group of monsters. It was black slime toads and dotted snake. Few hundred of them attack, but they were killed before they could do anything. These monsters must be strayed from the original group, Jill said as we walked past bodies. I nodded. This is the only explanation. They said we would mostly encounter a small group of monsters on the way to the exit, and we had a low probability of coming across a large group of monsters, seeing we had just killed the big monster groups of this area a few hours ago. I am feeling more and more excited as I walk near the exit. This 3 weeks in this realm were really fruitful and made immense progress that would have taken me near year, but 3 weeks are enough. I am missing home, especially my parents. It'd been 3 months since I've come to Westblood from my little town for adventure and progress. I've done enough adventure and made enough progress, now I just want to go home to parents. I will at least stay in my hometown for a week before coming back to the Westblood. As I think about my parents, I suddenly remember what crisis I am in. I had come to Green Hills to try my luck to if I could find some fortune, but now I have to give lots of answers. They must have called hundreds of times, and now I am sweating bullets on how am I going to explain to my mother. What happened to you? Jill asked, seeing my odd expression. I told her my dilemma, and her expression also turned quite odd. You are not the only. I will also get an earful and may be grounded for a month, she said with an expression which clearly shows she is not looking forward to it. What, grounded? A familiar voice came from behind, but it still startles us. It is Michael. He came behind us so fast that both of us not able to sense it. I am telling Michael what we will face when we return home, Jill said plainly, but hearing her, expression of pain appeared on his face. Look like he is imagining the punishment he will face after returning home. As we walked deep inside Firest, the more and more small groups of monsters attacked up. They were easily dealt with. Flap flap. Ashlyn. Before I could form a word, she flew away from my shoulder. I wanted to stop but couldn't. I extremely fear for her safety, seeing all the large monsters here. They could all easily eat with a single bite. Is it normal for monster size not change during the level up? I asked Jill as I observed there is no change in Ashlyn's size as she leveling up compared to her parents, who are a little bigger than the size of my hands. I have not read much about this size changing the subject of the monsters. She would likely know as I saw her level up 2 times, but there was not much change in Bitsy's appearance. It's all due to age. Like us humans, monsters also grow big as they age, and leveling up nothing to do with growing up in size. The monster will grow big as it gets older. There are some exceptions though, like a mutation or eating some miracle fruit, she explained. Listening to her, I understood everything. I hope Ashlyn grew big enough that I can ride on her. It is likely to happen. Most of the gray spark sparrows only grows up to half a meter, but there is still a chance with Ashlyn as she is a mutated monster. Choo choo. Ashlyn came bringing berries in her claws, and just as she handed me the berries she flew away again. I shake my head. Seeing this, I opened my backpack a little so she could drop whatever she brought back. William, would you trade some corporal level fiery lion's course with me? I asked. Sure, but I will not take anything from this, me helping a friend, said, shutting off any excuse that I will make to pay him back. I nodded, and next second he took out crystal cores from his pocket. Not only there were thumbnail-size red cores, there was even a core size of my fist. My eyes glue on it like a stick, and I only come to myself after I heard William's voice. Here, take it, he said, and it took small cores, and about to reject the big one, but seeing William's expression, I quietly accepted it. As time passed, Ashlyn kept bringing fruits and herbs every few minutes. We ate till our stomach full, and while rest I kept it in my backpack. Soon we reaching the entrance. It is nondescript location, and the only thing which could tell it is an entrance that is a black box which is emitting light blue light at the entrance. All right, quickly formed a line in order and enter. Those who will disrupt the order will be killed without giving chance to explain, said Super Elite without wasting a single second. No one doubted his word and started to form a line without creating any chaos. "You go first, I will come little later," said William to Jill as he walks toward other super elite who were keeping watch for human and monster. "Hun, come out my mouth," when caught a face of someone, but before I could confirm, he already entered the exit. "What happened?" Jill asked. "Nothing, I think I saw someone familiar," I replied. Soon my turn came and I stepped into the blue light. It felt like walking through the water screen. When I came out of the blue screen, I found myself in completely different scenery. I am back. Chapter 174, Return Home 2. Finally, I said, and moisture filled my eyes. I have finally returned. The sun hadn't fully set yet, there is still twilight. Looking at the scenery in front of me, I am sure we are some part of Green Hills. I looked for him, but there are too many people to search from. I will call him later if he also went to the realm or not. Ting ting ting. A soft ting with vibration started to buzz on my holowatch. It sounded for a few seconds before stopping. When I looked at the notification, I was very shocked seeing the numbers. There are more than 500 missed calls and more than 100 messages. Most of them from parents, while others are from Alina, Ron, and another friend. I started to read the messages of my parents from first to last. The first message came 3 days after asking me why I am unreachable and call when I get into the range. As I did not receive their call or answered their messages became more and more frantic. They even started to think that something had happened to me. I see in their messages how devastated they are, but suddenly something changed in the 74th message from my mother. The message said that Ellen found out that my organization sent me to some secret training and I should be able to return in a month. God bless you, Ellen, I said in my mind as I started to read her messages. She said she was also quite baffled when I was unreachable, but she thought I must have gone into the forest for training and must spend while week inside. But when she got calls from my parents and hearing their frantic voice, she makes a lie of secret training to calm them down. And she had read recent news of West Blood. She felt that there is a chance that I must have entered space realm accidentally. She asked me to call as soon as I read her message. I can't call anyone right now as nearly all people came exit and there seemed to barricade around the exit with multiple small gates. I wonder what they plan to do. Some people had tried to go out, but they all stopped by the guards by the gate. They only stopped adventurers though. Those from the organization didn't face any obstruction going out. Soon the super elite started to come out of the gate. Before going out, those who aren't a member of any organizations, please submit half of your loot. This is not we snatching your fortune, but we are taking fees for our service. Without our service you all wouldn't have able to come out space realm. Those who don't abide by this rule are free to return to the realm and find a new exit, and please refrain from making trouble. We would not be shy about exacting punishment, said the chubby guy who to be in his early 20s. He was not with us in the space realm, and the aura he is unintentionally excluding and threatened feeling I am getting from him, he is not a corporal grade. He is a lieutenant stage or above evolver. I've seen many master stage evolver and their aura felt a lot lighter than his. Many people wanted to cause some ruckus but held themselves back hearing the word trouble. Whenever this word mentioned, death followed behind it. They had seen in with their own eyes in the space realm. This rule is only for adventurers, while those from the organization, even people from small organizations, are free to go without submitting anything. Some people in the organization already started to leave. Shameless. A sound suddenly boomed and I was quite surprised to find it came from beside me. It was Jill who said that, and she directly said it to the face of that fatty. I hurriedly started to look for William. If that fatty attacked, I don't think both our will able bear it. And I was right. The sword of the boy beside Fatty started to glow and he was preparing to attack. I started to activate my shield when something happens which completely startled me. Ha 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 ha. That fatty suddenly started to laugh loudly and walk toward us in unhurried steps. To my astonishment, when I looked at the boy who was going to attack, Jill collapsed on the ground. He puking his guts out. Only when his friend feed him potion then did he looked better. When did this happen? I never saw that fatty attack the boy beside him. I only saw a fatty coming over unhurriedly and that boy collapsed on the floor, puking his guts out. Jill, you never change, you are outspoken as always, said Fatty, and he ruffled her hair. She tried to avoid it but couldn't. Where is your brother? I heard he also entered the space realm with you, asked Fatty. I am here, Javier, said William from behind, his face full of smile as greet that Fatty. You brother and sister really made my life hell, said Javier in a heavy blaming tone, but then he looked around and said in small eyes. Your aunt and mother had come to my home demanding my father to send her people to search for both of you. If both of you had not been found in 3 days, she would have definitely had sent her people to search for you both, he said in a small voice. I can clearly sense fear in his voice when he said this. Jill's aunt and mother seemed really scary people to scare this Fatty shitless. You enjoyed your adventure enough, now you both have pay for that adventure, ha 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 ha, he said and started to laugh suddenly. Both William and Jill face became unsightly hearing Fatty laughing at their expense. You Charles, I will see you later, said Jill in anger, started to walk toward the exit with her brother. I did not follow them and started to walk toward the normal exit. Michael! Jill shouted, seeing I am not with her. Hearing my name I looked at her and next second I started to follow behind. Seeing how angrily she is looking at me, I don't want to anger her more by my pride, and it is also in my profit as I don't have share half what I have in my backpack as service fees. Chapter 175 Return Home 3. Bye, I will see you in a week if I am not grounded, said Jill, and she walks into the hover car. I also waved her hand, seeing her hover car flying through the air. I also called the hover car, but it will take a few minutes as thousands of people suddenly leaving for the West Blood. All the frenzy on the Green Hills died down as the whole Green Hills are sealed by top 7 organizations. In the Republic, these 7 organizations are very powerful, more powerful than the government. It is said that these organizations are not from our continent and are from a different continent. I always thought it is people's imagination going wild and these organizations from the strong nations of our continent, but I can fairly guess that this may be not people's wild imaginations. The many things I've experienced in the space realm made me the thing that, especially these monsters from the central continent who fought Corporal Stage Monster at being at private level without much breaking sweat. Maybe some of the top 7 organizations and Jill's organizations from the central continent, as whenever I asked them about the central continent they always became oddly quiet. Taking a deep sigh, I did not think about that subject more. I will come to know about it if I became strong enough. Seeing there is enough time, I booked the train for my town. The earliest train is for tomorrow evening, which means I will reach my town at day after tomorrow. 5 minutes later hovercar came and I took a seat on it. Seeing I have more than an hour of time, I decided to call my parents. I took a deep sigh and called on my mother's number. Try Michael. My mother received my call at the second ring and a projection of her face appeared from me. Her face looked little sick, it must be because of worry and her pregnancy. She was first little startled but then suddenly started crying loudly. She cried so loudly that my father came running thinking something must have happened to her but got surprised seeing me on the call. She started to talk in between her cries, saying that they thought something must have happened to me and they would have come to look for me if not hearing from Ellen that I was in secret training. She cried for 10 minutes before stopping but then she suddenly turned really angry and started screaming at me for not informing them before going to secret training. I felt weird too seeing her mood swing but my father seemed oblivious to it. He must have got used to her mood swings due to pregnancy. I heaved a sigh of relief thinking not following my original plan of surprising them home at day after tomorrow. If I really did that, I would have surely gotten beating then and there by my mother. I am still not sure if I am free of any beating when I go home at day after tomorrow. Mom, are you fine? I asked after she calmed down enough. There was a change in her expression which unable to catch. It's nothing, I was just worried about you. Now that I've seen you, I will be fine, she said with a laugh. I felt little guilty worrying them but I will make up with them after when I get home. I talked for my mother more than an hour and only cut the phone when the hovercar reached the Mista Bazaar outside the city. I have to take new hovercar to go inside the city. Choo choo choo. Ashlyn chirp asking for dinner seeing we are in Mayasta Bazaar as this is we usually eat after we came out of Mayasta Forest. We will not eat here today, I will order expensive 5-course meals for today after we went home, I said as Jay order new hovercar. She may not understand what 5-course meals are, but sensing my emotions, she knew we are going to eat a very tasty meal today. I've always wanted to eat the 5-course meal from famous restaurants, but seeing their sky-high price, I never dared to order, but now I have enough money that I can indulge myself in the expensive meal. Soon the hovercar came and I got in it. On the way, I also gave a call to Ellen saying thank you for the excuse she made for me, otherwise my parents would have devastated and worrying about me. When I answered her question about where I was, she did not seem much surprised. She would have probably guessed it after reading some news about West Blood. After hanging up on her, I massaged my other friend saying I am fine and I will call them by tomorrow. By the time I've done that, I reached my apartment building. I take a sigh as I looked at my apartment building and climbed a step toward the lobby. Ting! Elevator's door opened. I walked toward my apartment and opened its door. Thud! Throwing my backpack down, I laid on them without changing my dirty and somewhat damaged clothes. I did not care about dirtying the bed as I laid on my in safety on my apartment. I can feel myself completely relax here. I know consciously, there is no monster going to attack me. Even in the Blue Dome, I was never completely this relaxed, but now I can relax without any worry. Choo choo choo. Ashlyn chirped and reminded me of food. Right. I said and opened the page of one of the best food selling service in West Blood. In their deluxe menu, I chose the food of which is specially made of corporal level ingredients. Soon my order is finished and paid 20,000 credits in total. Our dinner will arrive in half an hour, Ashlyn. I said. Chew, she chirped affirmation as she stood on the balcony waiting. Seeing there is some time dinner to arrive, I decided to take shower as I hadn't had a decent bath in 3 weeks. Chapter 176 Fortune I. Very tasty. Choo choo. We both exclaimed after taking our first bite our food. Really, its reputation presides, it is very tasty. At first I was a little pained spending 20,000 on just one meal, but now I know this meal worth every penny. I will sure treat my parents for this meal when I went back to my town. Once we started eating, we didn't stop until we finished eating. I even praised myself for ordering extra portion for Ashlyn, otherwise she would have definitely forcefully taken food from me, seeing how tasty it is. She has no shame and boundaries when it comes to delicious food like this. Chew. Half an hour later, Ashlyn laid on her stomach as she finished her meal. I also ate till my stomach full and now, I am laying on my stomach. I am feeling little sleepy, but before sleeping, I did the small thing for tomorrow. Traying. My phone rang as I was in a deep sleep. I want to curse at the one calling me but stopped myself seeing it as Jim. Jim? I was a little confused about why he is calling me. I was going to call him tomorrow about the hundreds of herbs that Ashlyn had picked. I hoped they would sell for $1 million or $2 million, otherwise, I would feel very heartening for the things that I threw away to make space for the herbs. Hey Jim, I said as I activated the call. His small projection came out my whole watch. Were you entered the space realm in Green Hills, Michael? Jim asked the question without many greetings. Yes, I was in. Before I could say, I saw him, so he cut me with a shout. I knew it was you. I saw you after you exit through the portal, but Sarah has been arguing with saying, it was someone else, he said. I was right, wasn't I? He said in a loud voice, looking toward left, he probably looking toward his girlfriend. Sorry Michael for disturbing you for such petty thing. We will catch up in a few days, he said, and about to cut the call when I stopped him. Wait, Jim. I said quickly before he could cut the call. I had found some herbs in Secret Realm which I can seem to identify. Would you help me sell it? I asked. He is an alchemist. Even if he has no need of herbs, he at least would help sell them. Okay, no problem. You scan them, send their picture to me. I will send my drone to pick them later and help you sell at a good price. He said. After talking some more, and said goodbye to him. I was going to tell him about the mystical medicine but decided to tell him when I meet him personally after coming back from my town. I feel like sleeping, but I controlled myself. It will better to do now than tomorrow. I started to remove the herbs from my backpack and storage and scanned them for him. I scanned each and every herb carefully and even before compiling all them in a folder and send them to Jim. I even take 4 pieces of the Treyant heart. I planning to sell these 4 pieces of mystical to him if he came tomorrow, otherwise I will have to sell after I came back from my hometown. I cleaned my bed of all her and laid comfortably on my bed. It only took me a second to fall into the sleep. I was having a very peaceful sleep when something buzzed against my sleep and I heard the singing voice. Traying. Fuck. Let me just sleep, I said groggily as I looked at my holowatch. It is Jim who calling me. I just wanted to hang up seeing it been only an hour since I slept. To pick up or not? I am a diploma, on one hand, is my precious sleep, while on Jim, who I will have to talk at least for a minute. Jim, I said groggily as I picked up the call. My eyes are even blurry as I see his projected face on my holowatch. Michael. I am coming to your apartment in 15 minutes, he said and cut the call before I could react. He cut the call. It took me quite a while to notice what Jim said in my half-sleeping mind, but when I understood it, the first thing I did is get up and wash face with cold water. I can't say to him don't come. Hearing his excited voice, he must have found something precious in herbs that Ashlyn had collected. I just hoped that these herbs would sell least for 2 million, and selling mystical medicine I would at least able to get 7 to 8 million credit. I have other things that will sell for more, such mana crystals which I got from helping those from the central continent, and unrefined mana crystal which I found in Neil and Andrew's stuff. I have come to know from Jill that their price more than I had expected, especially the refined ones. Knock knock. A knock sounded on my door at the perfect 15th minute. He arrived right on time as he said. Where are the herbs? First words came out of Jim's mouth as I opened the door. There. I motioned toward the table by my bed, where I put the herbs neatly. Jim nearly went mad seeing them and started to mutter unintelligible words that I can't seem to understand. They are probably scientific names of the herbs. Seeing his reaction, all the bad mood I had vanished. They must be really expensive for him to behave like this. How much they will sell for? I asked bluntly. He didn't answer me but kept checking each and every herb carefully. This should take some time, I said as I sat on the chair in the corner of my room. Hun. Suddenly I noticed something which gave me a major shock. When Jim had arrived, I didn't particularly observe his stage. I thought he would be at mid or peak stage of the specialist grade, but I've never expected him to be at initial level of corporal stage. I can sense the aura of corporal grade clearly. I wonder how he advance one whole stage in 1 month. I clearly knew that 3 weeks ago before leaving he was at initial level of specialist stage, but now he is at initial level of corporal stage. He must have a lucky encounter in this realm, otherwise, it would be really hard to level up one stage directly. I wanted to ask him how he did that, but I hold myself back seeing him busy with the herb. Each and every herb is very rare grade 2 herb. Did you find them in the realm? He asked. Yes, I replied. He was about to ask something but stopped himself. I can faintly guess what's he want to say. As for the price of all I'll pay you 12 million, he said. 12 million. I stuttered the words of hearing it. I've never expected to get this high price for the herbs that Ashlyn had casually picked up. Chapter 177 Fortune 2. This will be the best price you will get in the city if you are lucky, Jim explained, thinking. I am unsatisfied by the price. No. I am just too shocked to hear that all these are this expensive. All I've hoped for million or two for them. I've explained. That's good then. Currently I have only 10 million on me. I'll transfer rest of the 2 million tomorrow, he said. I nodded. I have no problem. 10 million is enough to get me specialized training in the moderate training center and help me get by for at least 6 months. Ting. A notification rang out on my holowatch. It was a message of reading I had 10 million transferred in my account. I never had this much money and never thought it would be possible to have. Now I have it in my account. It took me a while to come back to myself after seeing this much money. Suddenly Jim smiled and messages his hands craftily. You must have quite a few Treyant hearts, right? He asked. I am not interested in selling them, I said straight away. They are very precious, akin to Second Life. I would be a fool to sell them, and I have only 29 of it. I am not asking you to sell me. I am giving you a proposition, he said, that piqued my interest, and I asked him to continue. The Treant hearts have a big flaw: they spoiled. The specialist one will start to spoil after 3 months and will become useless in 6, while corporal level 1 became useless in 9 months. If you don't believe me, you can check on the web, you will find it if you search little hard. He said. What do you propose? I asked directly before he started to omit details. He had a habit of when it comes to potions. It's simple: you give me all the Treant heart you have, I'll give you living water potion in exchange. For each Treant heart I will give you 15 grade 1 water potions in exchange, and if you have corporal level Treant heart, I will give the same amount of grade 1 potions, just these ones going be high grade. And these potions going to last you for 5 years easily. He said. Life potion is what Jill had given me when I was seriously injured by the monster. It works the same as mana heart, the only difference between them that one is potion while other is the heart of the Treant. It is a sound deal. Normally I get 20 portions of each Treant heart, and it is 580 from the 29 Treant hearts I have. I will never going to finish them in 9. The deal that Jim offer is very good, as I will get 435 potions which have an expiry date of 5 years. Good. I said, and started to take out Treant hearts from my storage. Earlier when I was taking out herbs from my backpack, I have transferred all the mana heart into my storage. I can see from corner my eyes that Jim had a slight reaction seeing I have, but I saw no hint of greed or any other emotions in his eyes. Now that I am thinking of it, he himself has at least 2 storages, one is a backpack while others in pocket shape like mine. Do you have any life potions on you? I said as I am taking out the mana hearts. Yes, do you need any? He asked. Yes, give them as much as you have, I will give you all my Treant hearts. I said as taken out all 29 Treant hearts I have, leaving only a few pieces that I had in my sleeves. Jim looked quite surprised seeing the quantity of mana hearts I have. I am confident to say that, in the socialist stage adventurers, I am one few who harvested most mana heart. Half of the Treant heart I have were harvested during the battle, while the other half was after the battle. It's all became possible due to the night grade skill I have, otherwise, it would be really hard for me to kill Treant in one move and harvest their heart after. I will only able to give you 50 life water potion every month. I have 20 with me right now and will give you other 30 in 2 weeks. Okay, he said. It's fine with me. I replied. He nodded and started to fill everything in his storage. Jim, you make a quite progress in 3 weeks, from initial level of specialist stage to initial level corporal stage. I said. He smiled happily hearing my praise. It's just lucky encounter, he said modestly. Do tell? I asked. I am very interested in knowing how he managed advance whole stage in just 3 weeks. It nothing that amazing, it's just monster miracle, he said. Monster miracle? I have never heard of this term before. What is monster miracle? I asked. It is one of the mysteries of monsters. When I leveling from initial level of specialist stage, instead of leveling up to mid-level of specialist stage, I directly leveled up to corporal stage. Sarah was so jealous, you know? He said, laughing evilly. Now I understood, it was one of the odd monster cases, like mutation, gigantification. I now understood why he called it a monster miracle. I wish something like this happened to me, but it is near impossible for something like that to happen to me. It is common sense, to happen sudden level up, the monster has to have the potential to reach that level, and Michael's monster has it. Compared to his monster, Ashland's limit is in specialist grade. It is very hard, near impossible for something like that happens to Ashland. Okay, it's getting late, I should go. He said as packed everything and about to leave when I remember the most important thing that I have to sell it to Jim. I am such an idiot. Are you interested in mystical medicine? I asked Michael. I knew he would definitely be interested in mystical medicine? He said startlingly. Yes, the one which helps in purifying the mana? I asked with a smile. He had an intense reaction when I said it helps in purifying mana. Do you really have one? Show me, he said impatiently. Look like he really needs it. It may be related to his sudden level up. He may have leveled up, but his mana is still at the same purity as before when he is at specialist stage. I took out 4 pieces of mana heart from my pocket, and before I could give it to him, he snatched it from my hand. He took out the thumb-size black box from his pocket and placed the small piece of mystical medicine on top of it. The runes started to appear on the box, and it coved the piece with. Only after few seconds did the runes recede and the black box turned completely green. "It really is mystical medicine," he said, astonished as he looked at the 4 pieces it had. I am also astonished, not by mystical medicine but the small box in Jim's hand. I was really right, the things that involve runes are not simple. I will have to research that box I have with me very carefully. It may be not a simple storage box. "How much % did it purify your mana?" Jim asked. "I had 86.3% mana purity before eating it, and after eating it turned 90.7%, I replied. He looked shocked hearing this, but he quickly calmed himself down and started to laugh in happiness. "Ha ha ha, my luck is really good, the thing I desperately needed presented itself," he said, laughing. "How much time it takes to purify the mana? Are there any side effects?" he asked after calming down enough. "There are no side effects except for pain you will feel. The whole process will over in an hour, and one more thing, don't eat the second one, it's useless," I said, but then I thought, I may have downplayed the pain. "Careful of the pain, it's heart-wrenching. Circulate the supreme combat exercise. It will help to elevate the pain and you will able to make few seals if you tried hard," I said. "I can manage little pain, Michael," said Jim arrogantly. He probably thought I am teasing him. Let him suffer. He should pay price for his arrogance and disturbing my sleep twice. "So, how much I will get?" I got straight to the point. "If what you said is right, then you will get nearly 2 million for each piece at least. I will know for sure after I will eat it tonight," he said. I nodded in affirmation. "You will not stay in this apartment now that you have much money, right?" asked Jim. "Yes, I am thinking of moving out to better place after I returned from my hometown a week later," I replied. "I am thinking of moving the middle ring, but there is some problem with that. Let me know when you return to West Blood. I have a friend who runs a real estate company. He will give a discount and I will even sign guarantor for form for you," he said. This one of the problems that had been bugging me about moving, but now that Jim offered so kindly, whom I am to refuse? "I'll be grateful," I said, thanking Jim for his offer. "I'll transfer the remaining money to your account tomorrow," he said as he is leaving, but he stopped before closing the door. "Jim, if you come across any precious herbs like this, don't forget to call me," he said and closed the door from behind. I am thankful that he didn't ask any question about how I got such rare herbs. It would be normal if 20% or 30% of them are rare, but here all of them are rare herbs. I look at the fat Ashlyn who liked to eat till her stomach full and cut no corners when it related to food would have such ability. She is my precious treasure seeker. I have to keep her ability secret, especially one about her smelling miracle fruits and mystic medicine. If it were known to others with nefarious intent, both of our life will become hell. I clear my mind of these heavy thoughts and splash cold water on my face to feel fresh before sleeping. I laid on the bed to sleep after making my holowatch silent. Whoever to call me have to wait for till tomorrow, I thought as fell into sleep next second. Chapter 178 Hometown I. When I woke up, it's nearly early afternoon. The bright sun could be seen shining through the glass of my balcony. Ashlyn is comfortable lying on the small chair of the balcony, and beside her 2 black boxes could be seen, and one of them is open. Before sleeping the first time, I ordered food for today and left the balcony open, so the drone could drop them off. I had to do that, otherwise Ashlyn would have woken up from the sleep for lunch. Yawn. I take a comfortable yawn as I sat in the bed and looked at my holowatch to see if there are any messages and calls. There are a few messages from my friends replying to the messages to my messages of yesterday. Ha ha ha. What caught my attention is 2 missed calls and messages. After reading them I couldn't help but laugh loudly. It was from Jim. He was cursing me for not warning him enough about the pain. I decided to call him myself and ask how he is faring up. Try. You fucker, you did that on purpose, right? I've never experienced such pain in my life. Thank God that I able to control myself, otherwise, I would have woken up my whole household, he screamed at me with loudly. Ha ha ha, I did warn you, don't you remember? It was you who became so macho on mentioning the pain. I replied while laughing loudly. My reply instantly made him silent, as I said I did tell him about pain, but he thought I was teasing him and got annoyed. He arrogantly said he doesn't fear pain. I can imagine how he must have felt when that extreme pain suddenly shot through your body. It feels like living hell. You circulated supreme combat exercise, right? I asked. Even if he is arrogant, he must have remembered to circulate the exercise. Yes, I did, and it helped me a lot. He replied with his face full of smile. So, how much do you think they will sell for? I asked the real question. He said yesterday after experiencing himself. This medicine better than I expected. My mana purity had reached a whopping 90.8%. You will get 2.5 million for each piece. Jim said. 2.5 for one piece, that means 10 million for all 4 pieces, and I've got 12 million from selling those herbs. Combined I will have 22 million credit in my account. That is a shitload of money, and I still have some cores of monsters left for me to sell. I will transfer all the money Eve owe you by evening, but now I have given this mystical medicine to Sarah. She had been always acting tough. I will see how she react after eating it, ha ha ha. He said and started to laugh loudly. Is his screw got loose? I thought as I see him laughing madly, this guy must have suffered quite a loss by his girlfriend to act like this. I don't think he will tell her about pain. Okay, Michael, I'll call you later. I have to make some preparation before Sarah came. He said and cut the call. I just left in a stupor for a few seconds. What just happened? That guy definitely going to do some mischief on Sarah. Sigh. I took a sigh and lay back in the bed. 22 million, this will make a lot of the things easier. With it, financing my year of training won't be impossible. I keep laying on the floor for a while before going to the bathroom for freshening up and bath. Ashlyn was still comfortably lying on a chair, basking in the light of the sun. I picked the black lunchbox and started to eat on my bed while thinking about the things I have to do today. I have to do some shopping for my family. I remember we were quite fine when we were in our old town, but when the disaster struck in the form of monster horde, we had lost everything. After that disaster, we had moved to a new town. We didn't get any help from the government except for a quick loan for our new beginning. My parents had spent 70% of their monthly salary to pay off the huge loan, while we have to do with the remaining 30% of the salary. It was very hard for us to live with this little money. We had lived very frugally and rarely brought anything for our enjoyment. They had to put my needs before their. The only thing they did extra in 5 years is bright more monster food when Ashlyn is born. She was glutton since she was born and will always demand monster meat at every meal. I finished my lunch and threw the lunch boxes in the bin. Let's go, Ashlyn, I said as I picked her in my palms and walked toward the door. I've decided to do some shopping in the mall. I would have done it on my HoloWatch, but this time, I am doing it for my parents and I am not sure what I want to buy. My plan was to roam the mall and buy the things that I would need. I will also need some things, a few good clothes, and a backpack. I have no need to change the artifact as they are enough for till I reach the corporal level. It would be a completely different thing if I get the night grade artifact, but it was very difficult to get them without connections. I walk out of my apartment with Ashlyn in tow. I decide to go to the mall in mid-layer. It is a good mall, I've heard many things about, and I it right. Within an hour, I reached the steps of the magnificent mall. It is the shape of the tower which has green vines surrounding it. When you enter inside it, you will think you were in the garden. It feels quite good inside, as soft fresh breeze will always be touched by your body. I've only a few hours to shop as I have a train at 7 o'clock in the evening and it is already an afternoon. By the time I've finished, it's already 4:30 p.m. but I felt quite good. I already brought everything. Choo-choo. Ashlyn chirp again, this her 4th time to ask for a snack. Whatever she smells tasty, she will demand it, and I didn't want to reject her, seeing it was because of her that I got a shitload of money. This is the last time, Ashlyn, I said to Ashlyn as I have lots of bags in my hands. Tasty. I have to say whatever Ashlyn chose is very tasty. like this iced drink that now we are drinking, it is very delicious. Today is the first day Ashlyn is drinking ice drinking from straws. She is drinking quite expertly without spilling a drop and looked quite cute doing that. How cute, a little girl of 4 came and states to pet Ashlyn suddenly, her mother who behind her smiled an apology. I smiled back in understanding. Many people had come to pet Ashlyn, especially children. Her shiny silver feathers and chubby form always look cute to children, especially when she is eating. Ashlyn didn't snap but also didn't respond to the petting and continued drinking without care. We soon finished eating and left for an apartment. I have only 2 hours until my train time. Chapter 179 Hometown 2. Chance, if you want a character named after you or the name given by, donate a crown and I'll make that happen. Ting. A bell sounded on my holowatch. It was notification of showing there are 12 million credits had been transferred to my account. I barely controlled myself from shouting seeing such amount in my account. I took a couple of deep breaths to calm myself down. I have been seeing the train station for 15 minutes and there are still 10 minutes for the train to come. Zup. In 10 minutes, the train came and I went inside. This time the ticket I booked is quite an expensive one compared to the cheapest one that I had booked when I come to West Blood 3 months ago. My town is in quite a remote area. It will take 13 hours for the train to reach there. If it all goes well and the train did not have an accident like last time, then I should be able to reach my home at 8 a.m. morning. I sat comfortably in the big chair without being pushed here and there by neighbors as this the single-seat chair. There is no disturbance from others. Closest seats to me are half a meter away. I look outside the window but all I see is a black blur. Soon our dinner came and both we cleaned our plates. It was quite a tasty meal, not quite tasty as the 5-course meal we ate yesterday. Ashlyn slept quickly while I kept browsing the web on my holowatch. That when I remember something, I really want to slap myself for that. I had asked Michael some monsters cores of a fiery lion for Ashlyn to eat but I totally forget that and this little glutton didn't remind me. Normally she never forgets to remind me when it is time for her to eat but when it comes to crystal core she never reminds me. I took out crystal core of fiery lion and small fist-sized device. I added the core of corporal level fiery lion inside the device and pressed 60 on it. Soon the machine vibrated for a little while before stopping and a transparent small finger-size box came out of it. One can see small specks inside it. These specks are part of the core that I had just put inside the small device. If one can count, he will see there are a total of 60 red specks inside it. I had brought this small monster core cutting device 2 months ago. It is quite efficient and precise. I have to feed Ashlyn 1 speck every day and I even put up a reminder in my holowatch. Before I know, I spent a few hours on the web and started to feel little sleepy but before that, I had to do the last thing. I quickly went to the bank site and typed the loan number, my apparently loan amount shown in front of me. 180,600 credits. I clicked on the payment after seeing the amount. Ting. I received the notification of payment confirmation. This loan used to feel like a mountain to me but now feels nothing. I can still remember how my parents used to cut corners every month to pay its installments but now with 1 click, I paid it all. I planned to pay it in the afternoon but decided not to. My parents would have called me and nagged me unlimited on how I got this much money but now they would only know at morning and by that time I would have already been at home, to explain it all personally. I felt quite lighter doing that. The loan was like little weight in me but now that I paid it, I felt quite fine. Seeing everything is alright, I prepared to sleep. When I woke up tomorrow, I will be very near my home. Buzz buzz. I was woken by the little buzzing in my wrist. It was an alarm. I had set it up in the case. I slept late. Although the train had a system for it, it will be voiced in the whole compartment and feel emphasizing. The alarm means that the train will reach my hometown in half an hour. Time passed by soon train to enter the town and started to slow down. The train will stop at town for only 3 minutes and at the time train will upload both the passengers and cargo for the town. I picked my backpack and walked toward the door. When I get off the train, I was greeted by the face of my father who was anxiously waiting for me in the station. He looked like he aged years in 3 months. There is a hint of tiredness could be seen on his body. Though I have talked to him any time on the holowatch, their difference in seeing with our own eyes. Michael, my father said and hugged. I can feel he is quite stressed. Father, how are you? I asked, seeing his stressed and tired self. I am fine now that you are here, he said, and we walked out of the station. I quickly called hover car for both of us to go home. As we sitting getting in the hover car, my father seems to have noticed something and became shocked, so shocked that he nearly stumbled. Yo, you reached mid-level of specialist stage, he said stutteringly. I guessed right, he is shocked seeing my new power. He was shocked seeing my power, as now my father and I at the same level. What took him years to reach, I've reached in months. Yes, I come across many opportunities in secret training, I replied. It must have been quite dangerous, said my father. He is smart enough to understand that such opposites lie in a dangerous place. I was a little surprised not hearing any admonished by him. I was even expecting he will give me some beating, but he seemed to be busy at his own thinking. In a few minutes, the hover car had reached our home and get out of it and opened the door of our home. Mom, I gasped as I saw my mother. She looked sick, sicker than yesterday when I talked to her. Chapter 180 Hometown 3. Mom, what happened to you? I asked as I entered the hall and sat beside her. She looked really sick, sicker than yesterday. She should be resting on the bed, not sitting on the couch. It's nothing, I am just under the weather, she said weakly, but I know she clearly lying. This must be something else. I didn't ask further as I don't want to stress her with more of my questions, but I will ask later. Michael, she looked me in astonishment as my father sensing my new power. I replied with her same answer that I had given my father. Choo 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 choo. Suddenly 2 gray birds came flying and swept Ashlyn of my shoulder. They are Ashlyn parents. When I looked up I saw 2 gray spark sparrow coddling tiny chubby Ashlyn between them. She looks a little annoyed but did not resist the coddling of her parents. She looked like a tiny thing squished between the 2 big things. It took us years to level up to mid-level of specialist grade, but you did it in the 3 months, said my mother with the astonishment. I just smile hearing that. It is true, my parents took 3 to 4 years for them to reach the mid-level. Here's a treat for you, Ashlyn, said my father as took out packaged monster meat and spread it onto the plate. Saliva could be seen dropping from the mouth of Ashlyn parents as they saw the monster meat, but at Ashlyn reaction most surprised them. Choo choo. She chirped arrogantly as took the look as monster food, completely looking down on it. Ashlyn had stopped eating this packaged monster food 3 days after we started to live in Wheatblood, and only time she ate that when we were in the space realm. That time I had to force her to eat as outside was a big sandstorm. She grudgingly ate that time, but she was mad and didn't talk to me for the whole day. You didn't want it, Ashlyn? My father asked confusedly. Confusion could be seen her face too. 3 months ago, this used to her favorite food. She even used to steal it sneakily from her parents' plate, but now she even refused to look at it. Mom, Dad, Ashlyn now find this monster meat too bland to eat, I said with a smile, clearing the confusion of my parents. Michael, you must not coddle her much or she will never learn if you fulfill her every demand, said my mother sternly. I smiled after hearing her words. It's too late now. I don't think she will ever change this habit of hers. Only thing I can do right now is that, don't let her eat too much tasty food that she will start to demand it daily. My father put back packaged meat back to the packet without giving look to Gray Spark Sparrow. Seeing that the 2 gray spark sparrow turned to Ashlyn with little anger and started to coddle more, but this time forcefully. Michael, what do you want to eat? I'll cook it for you, said my father as he moved toward the kitchen to cook. There is no need, Dad, the food will come soon, I said as the delivery is only a few minutes away. The train comes to my town only 2 times a day, one in the morning from which I came and one in the early evening. Both are the best time to deliver the food. I've already had food service for my parents which will deliver the food 1 time every 2 days, but now I had upgraded that every day and food's quality also increased. My father was a little startled at first but nodded and sat beside my mother, both of their faces suddenly, and I know it is serious talk time. Do you pay off the loan? My mother asked in a serious voice. Without much choice I nodded. Why in the world you do that? We were fine, you will all the money you have for training, said my mother. Her voice was weak but there was the hardness in it. Sighing, I clicked some screens on my holowatch and large screen projected out of the holowatch. Gasp. Both had let out a loud gasp as they read what's on the screen. My father even scrunched his eyes to look more clearly. This. He wasn't able to for a straight word seeing this. This time the training was in the new special realm. My luck was good and found something precious. This the money I got after selling it. I explained softly. Thank God. That I had created a separate account and transferred 7 million into it, expecting my parents' reaction. If I had shown them whole 22 million in my account, they would have directly lost conscience. You have to spend money wisely, train hard. I wish my son would achieve corporal stage at least, said my father while taking a glance at Ashlyn. I could understand his glance. With Ashlyn as my monster, it will be very hard for me to achieve the corporal level. If I had accepted the organization's offer like my friends, there would have been a big chance to reach corporal level, but now if I had to reach it, not only I have to work hard, I also have found the chance. Without it will be impossible for me break the bloodline limit on Ashlyn. Ting, a notification sounded on my phone telling me that the food delivery had been made. I got up and opened the front door to find there is a big box, right in front of it. The box is quite big as it contains the food for the 6 people. Choo choo choo. Ashlyn started to chirp excitedly as she gets out of her parents' coddling. Choo choo choo, she chirps again, asking me to open the box quickly as she is feeling hungry. Michael, freshen up first. My mother said sternly as I am about to open the food of the box. The difference. I said in my mind, if I would have been in my apartment as a West Blood City, I could have eaten it without freshening, but here I have to follow the rules of my parents. Much to Ashlyn's dismay, I walked toward the bathroom while Ashlyn kept trying to open the box with all her heart.